Hi everybody, it's Joni here at Joni's Journals. How are you? Yes, I do have a cold, which I'm hoping will be gone soon. It's hard to work with children and not get sick. But why I'm here today is I wanted to show you a kit that I purchased. I follow this person. I'm going to move you up just a bit. I follow this person on Instagram, and it's My White Cat Journal. And so I had seen this kit that she had put out, and it's called the Butterfly Specimen Kit. I'm hoping you can see, yes, the Butterfly Specimen Kit. And if you know me, you know that I absolutely love working with specimen slides. And so I went over to Etsy and I purchased it. And I just wanted to give you a look at it. I do want you to know that I'm not doing this in any way or being paid for this. She probably doesn't even know I'm doing this and probably won't unless she sees it. But it's a 3-page kit, and it comes with what will ultimately be 4 specimen slides unless you play like I did. And it also comes with a page of butterflies and some little ephemera that you can add onto the specimen slide. So what I did was, she has a YouTube channel, and I went over and I watched her YouTube channel and I learned how to make the specimen slide. This one is one that I did the way she did it, with some, not vellum, the plastic acetate windows in them, and with the little charm hanging off of it. And I attached my butterfly with the foam tape. And so when I turned it over, I didn't like that the foam tape was showing. So I took one of the little butterflies that's a part of the kit. Which page are they on? They're on this page. And so I just attached it on the back so that the back of my butterfly wouldn't show, even though I printed it with a background on the back of the paper. So I did it her way, and I thought that that was pretty cool. But then, if you know me, I had to play. And I took another one, and instead of putting vellum on it, when I cut out this little circle in here, which you do have to cut out, but it's relatively simple, I backed it on a piece of Tim Holtz backdrop. And I attached the butterfly on the front and did the same thing, and I put the ephemera on it. But then I had to Timify it. Now, if you know me, you know that I love Tim Holtz. And so again, I took one of the fronts of her slides, and I think it was, whoops, which one was it? Is it this one? No, I don't know. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. It was this one. And I attached it again to a piece of Tim Holtz backdrop, and I added some of Tim's little field notes ephemera and then the mini ephemera, and I added a paper doll, which, by the way, I colored using my Tombow markers. I had seen Natifa. She is the Juicy Christian on Instagram and on YouTube, and she was showing different ways that you could color your paper dolls. She used Crayola markers. She has a, I think it's a 2 or 3 video series on how to color them. I decided to try my Tombows, and they work great. They actually do work great. Maybe I'll show you that in another video. But I timmied up this one. And then if you know me, you also know that I am on Tracie Fox's creative design team. So what I did was, I took Tracie's Flutterby kit and I printed out some of her butterflies, only this time what I did was I printed the butterfly and then I printed it in reverse, so I made a double-sided butterfly. And I have also been learning how double-sided tape can be our friend. And so for this one, I used double-sided tape, and you can't even really see where I attached the butterfly. So in this case, it looks beautiful on both sides without even worrying about it, okay? And then I took my white cat journal's idea and I created my own little specimen slide using papers from the Arty Arty Kit, and also on the back, and again, I printed my butterfly regular way and in reverse, and I attached my butterflies together, and I made my own little specimen slide. And what I did here was I punched a little 1-inch circle out of the 2-inch circles that were punched out of these pieces of paper. And I will show you how to do this as well. In this case, you need a 3x3 piece of paper. And I used my 2-inch circle punch, which I believe is the Hobby Lobby brand or the Michaels brand. Punched a little hole in it, attached the acetate exactly the same way, and created this tiny little specimen slide using some of Tracie's papers. Now I'll explain what I mean about printing in reverse, but I did want to show you that I'm in the middle of making, and this again has a page of the Arty Arty Kit. These are extra pages that I had printed out when I was making stuff for the Arty Arty journal, which we still have to finish together. We have to add the pockets and the ephemera. And I backed it onto a piece of the Tim Holtz backdrop. Now this is the butterfly. And if you look, you'll notice that he is exactly the same on both sides. Now I have a Mac, and when I print, I have an option for paper layout. And what I do is I go into paper layout and I pick reverse. And what happens is, I'll show you on this kit, because I did it on this too, because I want to make double-sided butterflies out of these beauties. And what happens is when you print in reverse, everything comes out backwards. Can you see on there that the printing is backwards? On there and on the bottom also. Am I too close? And so this one is printed the proper way. This one is printed in reverse. You can even see that the butterflies are on opposite sides. And what happens is when you cut out your butterflies, they'll match more perfectly together if they're printed opposite. Now, they're not going to be perfect because you can see I haven't inked this one yet. There are little white edges here, and if that bothers you, you can trim around it. Ink is a wonderful thing. See, there's a little white right there. Ink is a wonderful thing. You can just go over it with ink. This one was the same way, and you can't even tell because I inked the edges. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go and I'm going to cut all this stuff out, and I am going to get it all inked and ready, and I might leave a couple of the butterflies so I can put them together to show you what I mean about printing on the opposite. And I'm going to get all this stuff ready, and we're going to make a few of these, maybe 1 or 2 of these, and maybe I will definitely show you how to make these, okay, and how to put the butterflies together. And if you're interested, if you want to use Tracie's butterflies as well, excuse me and my horrible cold, you can see I did the same thing with her kit. Now see, this is the butterflies printed the right way, and this is the butterflies printed in reverse, and you'll notice everything is opposite. And again, the print is backwards. But you don't have to do that. In the case of these butterflies, and in the case of these butterflies, their design is a relatively, well, I'm saying simple in the sense that if you print this one out and you print 2 and then put them back to back, it might work perfectly because they're basically mirrors of each other on both sides. They're almost the same. But in some cases, you know, things are not the same. And for flowers, for instance, I've tried to do it with flowers and it just doesn't work. But in this case, and even here, this is a relatively simple image, not talking about colors, but it is a mirrored image of itself on both sides. So if you can't do reverse and you have a simple image like this, you can probably just print out two and glue them together. I always have to make things a little bit more interesting. Excuse me. So I just print them in reverse, and I didn't learn this on my own. I have to confess, my daughter taught me how to do it. So yeah, if you need to wake your 5-year-old up at night to show you how to print in reverse, you could do that. That's a little joke. But anyway, okay guys, I will be back once I have all of this cut out, ready, my acetate ready, and we will get to work. Okay, I'll see you in a few. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm back. And as you can see, I have all of the ones that I showed you still sitting here on my desk. And I have got quite an assortment of things laid out for us to make. Okay, I've cut everything out, but I've left everything in different states of unmade. I guess that's a good way to put it. What I've done is I've prepared all of the windows with the acetate. And if, for instance, this one, I have added the little tab on. And I have added some of the tickets that come with the kit. And in this case, I'm trying not to flash this in the light. I have added the little specimen label. And I've added it on both sides because I didn't want the white to show on the back or on the front. So I added it and I kind of evened it up. And I'll show you how to do that on another one. But this is one of the butterflies from the Butterfly Specimen Kit from White Cat Journal. And as you can see, I have both. Let me just move this. It is glaring in the light. I have both of the samples of the butterfly, one printed in its regular way and one printed in reverse. And quite frankly, I don't remember which one is which. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you how you can glue this together. This might be a little too simple for some of you, and you might want to skip over it. But because it is printed in its normal state of being, facing in the right direction, and now I have printed it in reverse, when I glue them together, they're going to match up. Okay, so here we go. We have this, and this one is one of the ones that has the complicated little antennas, and I did my best to match them up. And like I've said before, not everything is going to match perfectly, so I've inked around them, and I've done my best to get them to be similar to each other. But the wings match up and everything else matches up. And so even the little bit where they might be off, it isn't going to make that much of a difference. And like I said, ink is our friend, and you can always keep inking around to disguise your edges where they're not exactly perfect. See, like here, that there's a little bit of white showing right there. So I'm going to add a little bit of ink. But 99% of our butterfly is completely the same on both sides, and it's matching. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that there for now so that it doesn't reflect in the light. I'm going to take my double-sided tape, and I'm going to add my double-sided tape to the back of the butterfly. And let me grab my scissor, and I'm going to snip it off like so. Okay, and then I'm going to press it down really well, because I have found by trial and error, although I'm beginning to like using double-sided tape, if you don't push it down enough, when you go to take the backing off, the whole thing lifts up. So I'm just going to take my awl here, and I am going to do my best. Oh, did I get it? Let's see. Hopefully I just lifted up the backing and not, oh, there we go. All right, I got the backing off. You can see the tape is there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my butterfly's wings a little bit so that it looks like he's flying. Okay, and then I'm going to center him onto the acetate as best as I can, working around this pole, the tripod rather, and try to get him straight. Let me just lift him up before I push him down and make sure that I've got him straight on here. Yeah, I do. And now I'm just going to push him down. And then I'm going to wiggle his wings up a little bit again. Okay, and then I'm going to turn him over and I'm going to show you what he looks like on the back. Okay, with the double-sided tape, you don't even see anything that, you know, like the one I did. Let me find it. The first one I did, which was this one, where I decided that I wanted to put the foam tape on, and I kind of had to disguise it in the back. Now that I've discovered double-sided tape, boy, I am just having a blast. So there you go. That's how we glue the butterfly together and add him to the specimen slide. Now we're going to move along, and I'm going to show you on this one something else that I've been doing. Okay, we're going to glue this butterfly together too, and we're going to add his tab. But I did want to show you, I've added the acetate to onto the back of this one already. I didn't feel that it was necessary to show you how to glue on acetate, so I did that step without you. And you see I left myself a note, ink the window, because I don't know about you, but how many times have you made a specimen slide and forgotten to ink around the edges? Which I guess is okay, but for me, when I like the grunge, I like to ink around the edge, the inside edge of my window as well. So I want to show you on this one how I cut out the circles. I do not like the oh God, like those little surgical knives that people use. I don't know what they're called right now, but they have that really sharp point. I'm afraid of them and I don't like to use them. So when I have to cut out circles, I cut them out with my scissors. Now in this case, I'm going to poke some holes in here with my awl. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my scissor and I'm going to put it through one of the little holes. I hope you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to start cutting across. Okay? And I'm going to cut all the way to the edge, like so. And then I'm going to cut out my circle. Now again, this may be a little too simple for some of you. You're saying, oh, yeah, well, we can cut out a circle, Joni. But, you know, I just figure, like I've said before, I don't know who's a beginner. I don't know who might be chicken of knives like me. I don't know if you've never cut out an interior on something. I do go about cutting out the interiors on things in a couple of different ways. Sometimes if it's a square, I will cut straight up through the item, especially if I'm gluing it on. I'll cut a line right up the center or the side of whatever it is I need to cut a center out of. And then I'll worry about it and I'll glue it down when I have to attach it to something else. But in this case, it's a circle and I really just feel like I can cut it out that way. So see, that's how I cut out my centers. Now, I'm going to remember to read my note to myself. And I'm going to ink around the inside of my window. Okay. Just because I like it to be grungy. And I don't want to leave a white edge on anything, you know, where it might show. So I ink the insides of my windows as well. Okay? So now I have that done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to attach the back or the front of my slide to the back or the front of my slide. So now you can see the acetate is just cut into a little 3x3 square, which fits onto this, which these are, let's see, these are like 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I cut out a 3x3 piece of acetate and I glued it into the center. So now I'm just going to glue this piece. Let me make sure that they're facing in the right direction. I'm going to glue this piece onto the other piece and create our slide. I'm just going to put it around the edges, okay? And I do want to put a little around the opening but not too close because I don't want to get glue onto my acetate. I've done that before, and no matter how I've tried, I cannot get the glue off the acetate. Okay, so I'm just going to pick this up, and I'm going to make sure that my edges are matching. Okay, and they are. And you can see, once again, human error. I just must have cut the slide a little bit too big on one of them, or a little too small on the other. And so I'll just ink the edge to disguise that white area. And there you go. There you have it. Now our slide is put together. Let's grab our little tab, okay? And I'm going to put my tab on before I put my butterfly on. But I want to see which side of my tab I want facing which way. And I think because there's gears on here, I'm going to put my gears facing each other. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of my tab. And I am just going to attach it to the back of my slide. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. Yes, I didn't want to bring you in too close because I felt like a larger view would give you a better view of what was going on. Okay, so now, is this centered? Yeah, it's pretty close. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little glue on this side of the tab. You guys have seen me do this before. And I'm just going to push down, and I'm going to attach my tab to my slide. And because this is PVA glue, it gives me a little bit of playtime, so I can actually move it around a little to make sure that the tab is straight and that it is in the center. Okay, I'm going to put this aside so it doesn't reflect in the light. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue together another one of the kit butterflies. But you'll notice this little guy doesn't have any feelers, antennas, whatever you want to call them. I cut them off. One of them I cut off accidentally, and then I said, well, I can't have one with antennas and one without antennas. But I'm going to show you my little trick for giving my butterflies antennas and little butterfly legs. I don't know if you can see he has little antennas and little butterfly legs. We're going to get to him later. Okay. These are called flower stamens. If you want to search them up on Amazon, you'll find them. They come in a box in a multitude of colors. Okay. And I must have bought this box of antennas flower stamens about a year ago, and I still have what seems like millions of them left. So because I know that a lot of us don't like to cut the antennas out on butterflies, and sometimes they can be a little bit disarming to try and cut out, I have been using these flower stamens. It's an idea I got from Louisa Heinzel. And I've been adding them to my butterflies who have either lost their antennas by accident or lost their antennas intentionally. But in this case, I decided it would be fun to add the antenna, but also give the butterfly back his legs. And I don't know if they're actually technically butterfly legs or what they are, but you know how a butterfly has those little feelers that come out on the bottom too? I don't know what purpose they serve, but I call them butterfly legs. So what I do is I put a little bit of glue into the center of my butterfly, and I lay my little flower stamens kind of side by side onto the glue on either side of the butterfly's body. Okay, just between his body and his wings. And this way I get antennas and I get the little legs. Normally I would fold the, the flower stamen in half and just give them an antenna. But I kind of liked the idea of adding the little legs, or whatever they're called, to the butterflies And I felt like it gave them a little bit more interest and made them a little bit more fun. So now what I'll do is I'll add glue to the rest of the butterfly, his wings and everything else. And I'm going to glue down the other side of my butterfly. And I'm going to just fix it so that the body is even. And then I'm just going to pull on the little antenna. And I'm going to try and get it kind of even with the side of his body, like so. And maybe I'll just pull it up a little bit because his antennas might be a little too short. Okay, and you see he has his little legs on the bottom there. And so now we have our little butterfly glued together, and he's gotten back his little legs and his little antenna. So I just thought that that was something cute that I could show you guys how to do. And I am going to show you it again on another butterfly, probably the next one we're going to make. But there we have it. Our little butterfly is glued together. And you can see, user error, I did not cut this perfectly. So what I'm going to do in this case, because this is an awful lot that I left here, and I have a feeling what I did was I glued two sides facing the same way of my butterfly instead of gluing opposites together. So I guess this is a perfect opportunity to show you that if you print both your butterflies facing in the same direction, you might have a little edge hanging over on either side. And you can see I have a little hanging over on this leg, on this lower part of the wing, and a little bit hanging over here on the top part of the wing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my butterfly over, and I'm going to see, do I have enough room to cut away the excess back here? And truthfully, I don't feel I do. I think that if I tried to cut away this part here that's hanging over, I would cut away too much of this part. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save my butterfly by adding some more ink. Okay, so I'm just going to ink around the edge. And yeah, this might be kind of a heavy inking, but if you look at this side, there's a brown edge. So it doesn't really make too much of a difference if I add a little bit more brown to him. And I'm just going to put it down here too. Okay. So now I'm going to ink around here because we did have a little white spot around his head and around his bottom. Okay. But my butterfly is pretty much, he's in pretty good shape. So now I'm just going to bend him up, okay, because I want his wings to look real. And then I'm going to take my double-sided tape, which I have now lost. No, it's right here in the bucket. And I'm going to add the double-sided tape to him. And this one does not have too much room for me to add. Oh, I'm sorry, I moved you. To add too big of a piece of the double-sided tape. His body's a little short, but that's okay. He'll still stick down. Let me just push down on the tape. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my awl and I'm gonna peel it back, and we're gonna attach our butterfly to our specimen slide. Oh, and once again, I push down hard enough, and you can see it's a tiny little piece of tape, but this guy's not gonna go out and play basketball or football, so I think that he'll be fine with that little tiny piece of tape. And I'm going to try and center his wings more than his body so that he kind of lays evenly on the slide. Okay, and we're going to bend his wings up a little. I'm doing this very gently just by rolling up onto the butterfly. And then I'm going to do the same here on the bottom. And I'm going to roll up the wing like so, okay, so that he looks like he's flying. Okay, so that's the front, and here's the back. And once again, doesn't that just look awesome with a double-sided butterfly? Okay, next one. Okay, and this is going to be the last one like this, I think. Well, I do have one more to glue down, but I'm going to show you how to do the stamen one more time and create the little wings and the little feelers and the legs. Okay, this is one of Tracie Fox's butterflies from her butterfly her front her Flutterby Kit. They're called Flutterby Fussy Cuts, and I showed you these one at the beginning of the video, and this butterfly is way too big for his specimen slide, but I don't care. I think he's going to kind of look awesome. Oh my goodness gracious. Can you tell I'm still sick? All right. Let's add our stamen, and I'm going to do this more quickly than I did before because I don't have to explain as much what I'm doing. So I'm just going to add my glue, and I'm going to add his little antennas, his feet, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to do it really quickly because I don't really have to show you again what I'm doing. Okay. And I'm just going to push down in there. Whoop. Got a little glue on my fingers. Let me just grab my wipes. Oh, there we go. Oh, I got a clean one for a change. Let me just wipe off my fingers so that I don't get glue all over everything. Okay, and now I'm going to glue the back or the front of the butterfly to the back or the front of the butterfly. Okay, like so. And then I'm going to adjust his antennas once I turn him over. Okay, I'm just going to pull his antennas up a little bit because I just think that this is such an oversized butterfly. Okay, let's adjust his little legs, and we'll adjust his body. Okay, and so there you go. You see he's got his little antennas and his little legs, if that's what you want to call them. And I'm just going to turn him over, and I did a better job cutting this one out than I did the blue one because he seems to match. I also know that I have matched up the front and the reverse on this one. I don't know what I did with the blue one, but I know that this is definitely the front, the forward facing and the reverse facing butterfly. Okay. Now what I've done on this one is I've added a little dangle on top, and if I have time, if the video doesn't get too long, because I don't want to bore you guys, maybe I will add a dangle. Okay, let me put some of the double-sided tape on this one. And I'm just going to, this one has more of a little bigger body that I can add the tape to. And I'm just going to cut it like so. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do the ones with the Arty Arty papers next, because I do want to show you how to do that. And then if I have time, if it's not too long, I'll show you how to do the dangle and also how to add those little specimen labels. But I want to make sure that you guys know how to make your own, because I do know some of you don't have printers or computers or anything like that, or aren't able to buy digitals. So I just want to show you how you can do it with scrapbook paper. And in fact, I do have another little way of making specimen slides, but I think I'm going to make that a separate video because I don't want this to take too long. Okay, so we have our butterfly. I've rounded his wings. I have his specimen slide prepared for him. Oops. We've added the tape, and I am just going to put this one down onto the slide like so, and push down on that tape, and round his wings like I've done on the other ones. And there you go. We have that guy or that lady done too. Okay. So there you go. That's how I've been doing the ones with the acetate windows from the kit. Now, I did tell you that I would show you how to make these. Okay, these are ones that I have cut out by myself using my punch. And I wanted to show you this one as well. This was one of the butterflies that I showed you, that if the edges don't match up, sometimes you'll have a little white showing around. Well, I've inked it up. Oh, and look, I put the little tape on the back already. I've inked it up and all the white edges are gone. Okay, so ink will save us a lot of problem. Okay, let's just take the little backing off this guy or gal. You know, you think about it. Are butterflies all ladies or are they boys too? But butterflies don't start out as butterflies. They start out as caterpillars. So I'm pretty sure there's boy caterpillars and girl caterpillars. Okay, so that's how we get our butterflies. That was a little bit of a biology lesson for you. So there you go. I've added that one to the specimen slide that I made myself. Okay, and that's what I'm going to show you how to make next. Okay, I have 2 3x3 pieces of cardstock that I've printed on. You could use cardstock that you already have. Goes back again to the fact that I know that some of you don't have printers, some of you don't own digitals, some of you don't want to buy digitals. So you can use regular cardstock. This is one that I printed. These are the pages from the Arty Arty Kit. And I'm going to show you how I measure them to make sure that I get my circle in the center by using my punch. Now I do know they again are 3x3. So what I do is I take my ruler so that I can make sure that my circle comes out in the center. I take my ruler and I measure. Now here's my pencil. I left everything out so that I could find it very easily. 1/2 of 3 is 1 1/2. So I will make a mark at 1 1/2. And then I will take, you've seen me do this before with circles. I will take my little piece of paper here and I will turn it around on its side and I will measure again to find 1 1/2. Now, I know that my other mark is here. So now I have a little mark on the back of my paper that looks like this. I'm hoping you can see it. It's right here, okay? I take my circle punch, my 2-inch circle punch, and can you see right here, there's a little arrow? I take that arrow and I line it up with, let me open this. It might, well, I don't know if you can, I can show you that. I line up the point of my arrow with this point right here on the piece of my paper so that I know that when I put my piece of paper in and I go to make my hole with both pieces lined up, if I tilt it, I'm trying to make sure that you're seeing it. If I line the point of my arrow up with that line on the piece of paper that I've made, I know that it's in the center. And so now what I'll do is I'll punch my circle out. Okay, and I have my hole in my specimen slide, and in this case, I really don't think I got it perfectly in the center. But that's not a problem, okay? It will still work, okay? Because I know that it's not in the center, what I'm going to do on this one is I am going to trace around the circle opening that I've already made, like so that I don't punch 2 circles out that are not in the right place. Okay, and you can see just by looking at this piece of paper that my hole was not punched in the middle of my paper. And this is a perfect way for me to show you how you can correct your errors. Okay, what I do is I traced around the circle and I'm going to put my piece of paper into my circle punch, and I'm going to line the edges up of that circle with the circle in the punch, and then I'm going to punch. Okay, so now even though my circles are not perfectly in the middle, I know that when I line up my two pieces of paper, my circles are going to match. Okay. Normally, if I could see better what I was doing, I probably would have gotten it exactly in the middle. But let me try again and show you on another piece of paper. Okay, this is one that I've actually gotten right in the middle. And I'm looking for another piece that I might have. You know what? I'm just going to use this piece of Tim Holtz. Okay, this was going to be the back. I was going to show you how to add a butterfly with a backing paper, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try again, and I'm going to show you again how to make the lines. You'll have to excuse me, my nose is so itchy. Make the lines to make sure that you can get your circle in the middle. Okay, 3 inches across, we need to make a mark at 1.5. Okay, I'm going to make a mark. And then what I'm going to do, once again, I'm going to turn my piece of paper around, and I'm going to measure on the other side 3 inches, and I'm going to make a mark at 1.5. Okay, on this piece of paper, it's going to be harder to see, but I have a line here and a line there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to draw a line so that these two measurements will match up. Okay. And you can see right there that that's the center of my piece of paper. Let me pull this down a little. So now I'm going to take my 2-inch punch, and I'm going to match this point up to this line, and I'm going to make a punch. And with any luck, it will be right in the middle, unlike before. Okay, I'm facing it towards me, so that I know that I'm probably getting the circle, the hole in the middle. Okay, now let's see. Are they going to line up? No. Oh, gosh, what did I do? All right. Well, you know what? They're off by a little. But that happens sometimes. Okay? You know, I started this video knowing that I wasn't feeling well, but I figured I would still be able to get through it. And so far, it has turned into a complete bumble. Okay, let's go back to the one that I screwed up first. Oh, I'm sorry. So now we have our two pieces of paper where our circles are not in the center. But I'm going to show you how I add the acetate to them, okay? And then I think I'm going to call it quits because this is just not my day. I really should have gone back to bed. Okay, let me add the acetate to this one, okay? And I am not having any glue coming out. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to add the acetate to this one so I can show you how I make a slide from it anyway. Okay. I'm sure that most of you are familiar with how to put acetate on. You know, I do have to say something. I have finally hit 1,000 subscribers. And I wasn't going to say anything about it until I continued along with my multifold tag journal that I'm making. But I want to welcome all of my new subscribers and just tell you that I don't always bumble like this, but there are some bumbly videos. OMG. I'm just going to go with it because you know what? Everybody has bumbly videos. Everybody. Even my fave and the leader of our pack, Tracie Fox. We all have bumbly videos. Okay, that is how I add the acetate into the slide. Now you can see I have excess hanging off. but I'm going to leave that and I'm going to cut it off after all of my glue has dried. Okay? I'm going to go back to doing something, something else, because apparently measuring is not the thing I should be doing today. All right. This is the other butterfly that I made. Now, what I wanted to explain to you, had I not made a mess of this slide, was you'll see when you cut your circle into the 3x3 piece of paper that your circle is quite close to one edge and quite far away from another edge. And what I did with that is I had created these little tabs with my Vasen whale tail punch. And when I went to add them, I'll show you with one of the other ones that I have here. When I wanted to add them to the slides that I created myself, when I put the tab on, it came too far into my slide. So what I did was, like I said, one edge is deeper than the other one. One edge is narrow. I turned my slide upside down and I put my tab on the deeper edge. Okay? It doesn't matter which way you do it. You can do it however you like. Or you can use a different tab. Where is it? On this one, for instance, I took the same tab and I cut the bottom off. Okay, you could do it however you like, but that was just a little something that I wanted to show you for curing a little problem you might have. All right, let's glue this guy on. If I have any viewers left at this point, I do want to show you how I add a dangle. Okay, let's add this little butterfly onto this slide. I want to try and make sure it's centered. Okay, and there's another one. Okay, let's put that aside. Let's pull out one that I wanted to add the specimen labels to and show you how I did that. Now, as you can see, the label is wider than the space. And if you glue it on, I'll show you. I'm just going to put a little glue down one side and along the bottom of the label, like so. Okay, and I'm going to slide the label onto the specimen slide. And I'm just going to pull it in a little from the side and up a little from the bottom. Okay, looks pretty, doesn't it? But now when you flip it over, you see the white. So in order for me to cure that problem, what I did was I took another one of the specimen slides and I put glue along the side, the opposite side in this case, and along the bottom. And I stuck another specimen slide onto the other side. I stuck another specimen label onto the other side of the specimen slide. I had such high hopes for this video. Oh, gosh. And so now you don't see the white anymore. Okay? So by putting the little labels on both sides, I have them here for interest. But now there's no white on either side. Okay. What else did I have left to do that I'm not going to make an absolute fool out of myself with? This one, we're just going to add our little butterfly. This is another one of the butterflies that has the very detailed antenna and legs. And with this one, I did my best to cut around the antennas and the little legs, and I glued them together. Now, for some of you, that white edging might bother you. If you want, you can cut off these little legs and this little antenna and do what I did with the flower stamens, or you can just go with the flow. What I did was I just inked the white that was left. Okay. Now, in this one, what I want to do is I seem to have gotten glue on my mat. Okay, I'm going to add the double-sided tape, and I'm going to add my butterfly to this one. And we're also going to hang a dangle off of it, which, the way today is going, you got a 50-50 shot of it coming out right. Oh, lordy, lordy. Okay. So, yes, to all my new subscribers, I'm not always this bumbly. I'm going to blame it on my cold. Okay. I was running a fever a couple of days ago, and I pretty much spent 24 hours asleep trying to get over this horrible cold that I've contracted from somewhere. But it just doesn't seem to want to go away. All right, we have the double-sided tape on the back of our butterfly, and I'm going to center this one onto the slide like so. I think he needs to go up a little further. All right. Okay. Now our butterfly is on our slide like so. We're going to pull his wings up a little and make him look like he's moving. And maybe we'll round this little, I don't know, leg. The bottom of his wing, we'll round that up a little too. Now what I want to do on this one is I want to show you how to add the little dangles. These come in the kit as well. I do have some that are prepared in here but are not punched yet. Let me just see if I can grab. It comes with all these little pieces of ephemera, and I make the little dangles out of them. So let's just grab my crocodile and see if we can be successful adding our little dangle. Do I want to put it at the top or do I want to put it at the bottom? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it at the bottom, and I'm going to make my hole right in the center of that little screw bob there. And I'm going to add an eyelet to it. Now, I do have a couple of different kinds of eyelets in here. Some that I just recently bought on Amazon, and I'm sending back because they do not work with my crocodile, no matter what I do. Okay, let me put my little grommet in the hole. Okay, like so. And I'm going to grab my crocodile, and I'm going to push my grommet down like so. And with any luck, it'll be straight, because if you've been watching me for a while, you know grommets and I do not get along. Oh, not too bad. Oh, and it worked on the back too. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a little bowl pin. And let's see if I can find a brassy colored one. Yep, there we go. I'm going to put a little bowl pin through, and I go and add my dangle. Okay, if I can grab a hold of it. Let's put the bowl pin through here, and then I'm going to put it through the grommet on my specimen slide. And of course I'm not, because there we go. And then I'm going to close the bowl pin. And there we go. We have a little dangle. All right, people. We have bumbled and fuddled and I don't even know what so much today that I think I'm going to finally give you some relief and let you go. But I am going to show you what we made, because even though it got a little bumbly, the things did come out quite cute. So what I'm going to do is, in the description box below, I am going to tag these kits, add the links for them, all of them. Here's the Tim Holtz one. We didn't get a chance to do that, but at this point, I don't really think you care. Here's the Arty Arty one, and here's the other one that I made. Okay, so that's what we've got. That's what we've done. Here's another one that I made. I do want to show you that one, front and back. That was the one with the specimen slide. With the specimen label. Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm just going to let you go. I'm going to send you lots of love, big hugs, send out a big welcome to the crew, to all of my new subscribers, and there are so many of you, and I do want to thank you for coming along. I will be doing a part 3 on the multifold tag journal. I do have another specimen slide tutorial that I want to do, but I don't know if I'm going to try and do that today. I'll see how it goes. But anyway, lots of love and big hugs. Please remember to like, subscribe. Please subscribe. I don't always bumble like this. And comment down below. And I guess that's it. Look in the description box below the video. You will find all the information on all of these kits. I will try to find the information on the stamens for you. What else? I think that's it. If you have anything else that you'd like to know where I got it from, please ask. For my multifold tag journal, which one of my new subscribers did tell me should be properly called an accordion journal. A couple of people had asked about the tins that I used, and I sent out that link. So yeah, if there's anything else that you want to know, please just ask me, and I'll do my best to get you the information. Okay, guys, thanks again. Love you. See you soon. Bye.